Well, good afternoon, my friends, and welcome back. Oh, yes, I finally obtained myself a new phone. I haven't been able to record my YouTube videos on anything except my GoPro for quite a while because my phone was screwed up and my camera got lost and my other one broke. Yeah, just kind of living a life of bad technology. My brother kind of not argues, jokes with me. We do argue, but he uh, he always jokes around because I'm so behind the times in technology. Because every time I'm like, oh, the camera on my phone is busted, or I can't download this or upload this because of some sort of the fact that I buy used phones all the time. Um, because to me, and this is kind of a continuation of maybe this morning's video, which I haven't even uploaded yet, but consumerism is just a killer, buying new shit because we don't need it. So there's this level of convenience. But I bought two used phones from the phone store and I talked them down to from 175 down to 140 a piece to get two of them. They're just like an S20 FE. It's a fan edition, like slightly less powerful than the S20, I guess. I don't care or know. All I know is if my phone works and it responds and it does what I want it to do, I'm happy with it. But I'm glad I did because today I had to sign up for Ticketmaster. And it's one of those situations where you already had an account, but you didn't realize you had the account. So you try to log in and then it says you can't change your password because you've already used that password recently. Just a nightmare to try to get this figured out because the band Fish announced that they're going to be playing the Moda Center in Portland on 420, and they haven't played here in like 20 years. And I'm like, this is a perfect opportunity to, have a local concert of a band I love. And they put on a phenomenal show. And to be able to go down there and just enjoy it, maybe even take my kids, think about taking my teenagers. They really need that exposure. But as a selfish adult, I might want to take friends instead. It's hard to say. But let's just say that it's exciting, but at the same time, I'm not as excited as I used to be about, you know, something as simple as going to a concert. The older we get, the harder it is to get us excited. And I guess this is kind of natural. It's just part of life. But it really reminded me. I made a video this morning talking about Edward Bernays and consumerism and how we find ourselves buying shit, as I said, we don't need, but also things that we don't even know exists until we're told we need it. Or, like I said, I felt guilty about buying a pair of like Carhartt overalls for work, specifically for work clothes for like $90 when I've got friends that would spend $400 on a pair of jeans. Well, not my friends. A friend I have is like that. I haven't talked to him in a while, but he was bragging about buying a $400 or $500 pair of jeans, and I was like, bro, that doesn't impress me. I was like, that just makes me think you're stupid with your money. And he was. He had tons of cash back then. Most of the people that I've known in my life who have shitloads of dispensable wealth, and a lot of them were drug dealers because I grew up in the dregs of society, let's say, not in a like I was in the inner cities or anything, but I know the people. I know family, and I also know some guys who were shady as fuck growing up. And these guys would do anything to make a buck. Wouldn't hurt people, but they'd do anything else, sell any drug, any substance, selling a lot of glass pipes, things like that to start out and build up to where, they've always got tons of cash. And when you've got tens of thousands of dollars on you all the time, they would buy the dumbest shit. $5,000 glass bong, and then they'd brag about it. And I'd say, I would never buy something made of glass for $5,000. That's just stupid shit. The only thing you have there is bragging rights. There are certain things in life that get better with price, but they always reach a level of, diminishing returns, as you would say. I'll just put it this way. I made a video called Audio Files Are Ridiculous and Spend Their Money on Speaker Cables. Something really dumb, just kind of a passing thought about how people spend their money on stereo equipment they don't need because it doesn't really make a difference. And I made this video like, I don't know, 8 years ago or something, maybe 10 years ago. It has more views on YouTube than any of my other videos. It's like getting close to like 500,000 or a third of a million views, which is a lot for one of my videos, right? And I'm endlessly fascinated with the types of comments that I will get of people who are stereo fanatics or self-proclaimed audiophiles justifying their purchases, let's say. But the real only argument I have had in there was there are diminishing returns. Anything you buy, stereo equipment, camera equipment, it all has a point where, yeah, you spend $1,000 on a good camera, that's probably more than enough. You don't need to spend $10,000 on some black magic fancy fucking, formatted camera that is more than you really need. The same way we don't need a fucking Bugatti or something. You can drive a fucking Porsche and save yourself a lot of money and still have a fast car that gets you around. But when it comes down to how much a person's spent on something, people want to always brag about that. And to me, it's just stupid. I have no intention of doing that. And maybe lately I have been focusing on wealth a little bit in my videos, which I don't usually talk about. I let the people in the world who have bought into the bullshit continue to buy into the bullshit. But there's part of me that says, if I can even reach one person who is stuck in that paradigm of thinking that more is better, I feel like I'm doing my job as a human to try to inspire my fellow man. I saw a video a while back about wealth and kind of this topic a couple months ago, and it really stuck with me because there was one comment in there, and what the video was about was just buy something that's efficient and that works for you. You don't need to buy shit to show off. It just makes things worse. The more money, more problems approach. And one of the comments in there said, he said, this video resonated with me. He said, I have money and I drive a very fancy sports car. He didn't specify what it was, but he said, I'm inspired to get rid of it. I've been thinking about getting rid of it lately and just getting some regular old sedan or beater car to drive around and go to work and do things. Because he says the time and energy and stress it causes him. He says, even when I show up in a shopping center parking lot, I have to drive around for extra time to look for a spot where I'm not going to have my car scratched by another car or a shopping cart, right? Anytime I go somewhere, I have to make sure that it's not going to get stolen. And there is something to be said about just having average shit. Nobody else wants it. I drive a Dodge Caliber, 2009 Dodge Caliber. It's like the ugliest, shittiest car. I hope it doesn't hear me. With a CVT transmission that just doesn't feel right, doesn't get up and go when you need it to. It was from my mom, but she passed away, so I kind of inherited it and never bought a pickup that I needed. And here I am driving this thing around thinking, okay, it keeps me humble, it keeps me from driving too fast, it keeps me from, being cocky. But more than that, I wouldn't want to be looked at for what I have or what I drive. And I guess, as I said, I started out this video talking about being excited. I just wanted to kind of, how it diminishes over time. And it really leads me into this discussion about things, because no matter what you buy, no matter what you have in your life, you will eventually get bored of it. If it's hard as humans for us to admit this. I found this with a lot of societal norms, if you will. This idea that you must have a passion and then stick with that passion and do the best you can at it. People lose their passions. They lose interest. Fuck, I build guitars. I've got a bunch of these half-finished guitars over here. I do resin jewelry. On my channel years ago, I was talking about selling it, and then I do tie-dyes, and I do woodworking, and I build cabinets, and all these things that I have passions for at certain times, and then I just, it's not exciting anymore. And the same goes for going to concerts. Like I said, so Fish is coming to Portland. I got in the queue. I was like number 3,600. I waited until it was down to my turn to order tickets. Tried to get tickets. They were already sold, so I rushed through and just bought 4 tickets. And it went through. That's all that matters to me, because it's only one show. For those who don't know Fish, the band, they usually play two shows, sometimes 3 shows, sometimes 4 shows. They did a baker's fucking dozen, okay, in Madison Square Gardens. It was the MSG Baker's Dozen, where they literally played 13 shows over a period of like a couple of weeks. It was wild. And so, and they all fill up. People love going to see Fish. So the same people who go to see him one night will go the next night, because it's not like a pop band where you go and they play the same set list, where they've set this up and every show they play the same set list. Fish always has a different set list. So you're going to hear songs, hundreds of songs that you've picked out a few that they like and they want to play at that show. And but playing one show means it's harder to get tickets. So I was pretty stoked when I actually had said, "Hey, you got your tickets." And I was like, "Yes." Had that moment of excitement, and I thought, this is really what life's about. Just those little moments of like, yeah. It's because we have so much bearing down on us as individuals, whether it's family or employment or the way our parents or our kids treat us, our circumstances financially. Perhaps we have a serious issue, like when my back went out, when I got sciatica really bad, my L4 and L5, the cartilage, it just all got fucking compressed and fucked up the nerve, and my left leg was just inflamed for like years. And I had my YouTube channel at the time, and I actually made quite a few videos talking about sciatica, but that was like over a period of a couple of years having it. I really held back. When I've been in physical pain, I'm not going to go online and complain about it, but I realized how it affected me in the way that I carried myself in public, at home, online. And I've noticed this lately too, since the COVID days. I haven't quite recovered from all this shit. And just as COVID was kind of coming out, my mom died after getting sick with probably COVID, but it just kind of triggered something in her body where a month later she was still sick. And then, I'm not going to get into the details, but it was pretty devastating. And I kind of repressed that negativity, and at the same time saying life moves on. Like, I'm very accepting of death. If you haven't faced it in your life, then it can be harder. But, it's just like getting a bee sting. You get used to it, right? When my dad died at 15 years old from cancer, in front of me, basically, like in the living room on a hospital bed, where his stomach was distended and he was skinny and his brain wasn't working, and it was fucked up. He had carcinoma in the lungs, and then it spread to the brain, the liver, and everything else. And I'm a 15-year-old skateboarder with a mullet. I just said, I'm just going to ignore this. I, of course, lived with my dad, and I did the best I could. But yeah, even the night he died, when they said he wasn't doing well, and I chose to go skateboarding instead of going to the hospital. And I don't have regrets for that, because I don't want to see him die. I think that was, maybe I should have been there, but no regrets, right? We're just trying to do the best we can without worrying about what we could have done differently. So anyway, that's kind of an all over the place ramble. I just wanted to talk for a while. Yeah. So peace and love. I'll see you all next time. And now that my phone's working, I'll be able to do more videos, and also hoping to upload more podcasts. But just as I get a new phone, I came in to record a podcast on my voice recorder, and it just wouldn't turn on. So it's this little Tascam DR05 that I've been using for years. Totally falling apart. I'm not surprised it crapped out. So I'm going to have to buy myself a new one of these days. I'll talk to you next time. Peace out.